Hi again. I know it's been a while since the last D&D story time, but I thought I would finally tell a story that's been spoken a few times while I've been streaming. And I'll say it in full here. So, the players had visited the city of Khazak Ferrum, a dwarven hold that spanned a mountain range which cut a continent in half along the middle. The party had a small amount of infighting when they arrived, as the noble-born half-elf named Tilvanus had arrived ahead of time to talk to the Dwarven Thane Council. What followed was a long talk between the dwarves, Tilvanus, and a Mull barbarian called Skordar. The argument boiled down to this. The barbarian had beaten the fighter senseless for showing cowardice and leaving them during a fight, alongside with him suspecting of slave trafficking. The fighter obviously didn't like this blow to his pride, and petitioned for the dwarves to arrest the barbarian. The barbarian's argument was that it had happened in an arena, and when they first met, Tilvanus had actually tried to steal the barbarian's horse, and it had died in the attempt. A few rolls later, and the fighter was paying the barbarian back for the lost horse, which had been slain by goblins. With this bit of bad blood upsetting them, the party kicked around the Khazak for a few days, eating, drinking, and learning the ways of the dwarves here. They were eventually given a job by a member of the council. Recently, some tears in the earth had opened up in the lower levels of the hold. The party was tasked with going a small way down and using explosives to create controlled cave-ins. Any member of the party with an intelligence over 10 could get trained in their use and be able to set off the explosives safely. The council warned the party that there had been some creatures appearing in these holes in the ground, so a sooner rather than later approach would have been best. Before leaving, the party decided to go shopping, spend time in the library, talk to a few people, do some drinking, chat up some guards, help move some refugees in the city, help old ladies cross the street, and rescue a stray cat. By the time they were done with all this, a Dark One army had arrived at the main gates of the hold, along with using the underground river to get a small force inside by the waterways, and some were even coming out of the fishes themselves, coaxing beasts from the dark places deep beneath the earth into the dwarven hold. What should have been a simple job became a siege. The main gates were breached. The waterway was held by the enemy and water shut off to the city. Small Dark One teams had set fire to the Great Library and destroyed the magma pumps so the forge temperatures could not be regulated. The dwarven army was fighting on all fronts. The party did what every sane party usually does under times of stress. They split up. Tilvanus and Skordar made their way towards the front gate. The son elf and paladin of Iomade, named Hera, ran for the library, to make sure the history and lore of the dwarves was saved. The Kasatha vigilante, known as Grendel, mounted his wolf, Beowulf, and raided the dwarven armory for weapons to use in the coming fight. A belt of giant strength and +1 sword later, he rode for the massive sluice gate that dammed the underground river. The last member of the party was a dwarven paladin named Ragnar, who guarded the way to the upper levels. Skordar fights his way towards where the dwarven king and thanes are fighting in the front line. He was here for glory. He wanted all to see as he slaughtered the dark elves around him. He only took minor wounds in return, saving thanes' lives more than once. He was earning respect from the dwarves, despite being an abomination. Hera at the library formed a bucket line, finding a dwarf called Hagar, and inspiring him to take command while she ran into the library and checked for people trapped inside, while rescuing old irreplaceable texts. As she moved through the flames, she sees dark shapes following her at the edge of her vision. Tilvanus, upon seeing the assembled army, decided he in fact did not want to fight in the front lines where thousands screamed and died. So, he ran up the stairs to the first level of the hold and looked down on the battlefield. He saw there was a way to clamber over the safety railing and down the cliff face to hang over the Dark One's army, where he could drop the very powerful bombs he'd been given by the dwarves to decimate the enemy. I asked the player what he was going to take with him on this climb. Everything, he responds. You sure you want to take all your weapons and armor? Which he replies, yep, I need to be prepared. So in full plate, the fighter climbed with his longsword, 2 hand axes, short sword, longbow, and 30-ish kilos, roughly 70 pounds, of explosives, making it hard to move over the wall and climb down the cliff. Make a climb check. 2. Your fingers begin to slip. Make a dexterity save to stay on the wall. 4. Player turns to me. It was a hero point to reroll, which rolls a 1. He very loudly exclaims, "I burned the hero point to stay there." Okay. You managed to arrest your slide, and now you're in a small nook where you are over the combatants. You still have about 30 feet to climb before you are over the front lines. Do you want to maybe rethink your plan? Player takes a second. Looks at me. I'm continue. Okay. With all your gear? Yep. Alright then. Roll another climb check. Natural 1. Telvanus hanging in full plane, festooned in weapons, and with very volatile explosives strapped to him, found that he did not have the strength to climb down the cliff, while encumbered under so much weight. He slips and falls 150 feet, landing 20 feet behind the dwarven lion. If the impact hadn't killed him, the ensuing blast that tore through the combatants would have. In a blink, the dwarven army was destroyed along with thousands of Dark Ones. Score of the barbarians survived. He's unable to find his weapon. He breaks the neck of a Dark Warrior who has attempted to grapple him, throwing the warrior at another, advancing on him, and then charging a third. He notices a dwarven rune shield now firmly embedded in the wall of the hold. He lifts the slender creature and slams it again and again on the shield until the metal breaks through the creature's chest. Scott knew the front was broken. He looked one last time through the dust at the fallen, ran to the stairs to ascend the mountain and escape the oncoming slaughter. Meanwhile at the library, Hera was getting desperate as she tried to save the library. The enemy controlled the waterways, so the bucket line was drying up, and the shadows inside the library were deepening even as the flames grew more intense. Suddenly there was a cacophonous explosion that shook the building, and the shadows congealed into a demon, a massive lieutenant of Orcus. The paladin had previously been cursed by the demon lord to, "When at the presence of great death, my knights will come for you," of which there were 999. They managed to kill the first one by dropping an island on it and having it fall into the sea where it dissolved. This is when they realized the creatures were vulnerable to water. Calling on the power of her god Iomade and the power of the wounded angel that resides in her heart, she battled it through the destroyed library and into the skies as glowing golden angelic wings erupted from her back. Even then the beast was too much for her, and it smote her to the ground before landing and standing over her, brutal weapon raised. Grendel, always an odd one, rode his wolf backwards, straight through the line of Dark Ones guarding the waterways. As he approached, he calls over his shoulder, "Don't worry guys, I'm on your side." I laughed. The table laughed. He rolled a natural 20. The table laughed harder. I shook my head in disbelief. The leader of the Dark One yells out, "Let him through. He's obviously no dwarf or surface dweller. Maybe one of our lord's spies." Randall rides through, waves, says hello to people as he goes by. Dismounting, he walks up to the elven commander, gives him a fist bump. "Hey bro, need a good place to view the battle from. I'm gonna go up there and have a look," pointing to the sluice gate control tower. "Alright, roll a deception check." Natural 20. "Okay," responds the drow. "Once you have an idea of where the enemy is, return with a report." Grendel rides off, climbs the tower, kills the pair of guards up in the control room. There he takes hold of the oversized valve and slowly turns it, opening the sluice gate. Water rushes into the hold, flooding the lower levels. The invading army is swept away, either into the forge works, where they are quickly boiled alive as the magma and molten metal hardens on contact with water, or straight down the fissures. The demon of Orcus that had been battling Hera is hit by a veritable wall of water and is destroyed utterly. Grendel moves to the window of the control room and surveys his work. The player turns to the table. That, my friends, is how I win a war. Well, hope you enjoyed that story. It was a mix of ridiculously good luck and ridiculous decisions, along with ridiculously bad luck and ridiculous decisions. It always confuses me when parties split up, but sometimes you get these little moments where each player gets to do their thing and it just works out really well as their true character comes out. Barbarian, cutting through enemies, seeking glory and combat. A coward running and then trying to do something tricky and dying for it. Paladins fighting demons and, well, the odd one just being weird. It's probably one of the more memorable moments of my home campaign. Alright, hope to see you again in the next D&D Storytime.